Well, well, well. If it isn't the Dark Knight,
Hey,
what is happening, my friend?
what is up, people?
Ah,
What's up, man?
it has been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
It has been literally to the day 2 weeks
Yeah,
since my guy here. Actually, no, shit, 3 weeks to the
has it
day.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
because the last episode that we recorded was episode 4 of Moon Knight, and
Hmm.
we were slated to do a show on
That's right.
the Batman. We did
Hmm.
not get that done. We do owe that to you, and we will get that to you maybe this weekend. But we're not making promises anymore.
It's been
uh,
a interesting last couple of weeks, I will say, for the both of us. So I will
it
say
has.
that.
Before we get into it, we'll address the elephant in the room. Jr. has been a little under the weather,
Oh,
not COVID related. Not COVID related.
it is a number of things actually. I had a huge, horrendous like allergic reaction for the last couple of weeks, dude. The last couple months actually, if anything, I felt like to get to start off by that, I felt like it was a react allergic reaction to the booster shots that I got, right? For
Gotcha.
for COVID, right? I'm thinking like, all right, cool, but that I took that in sometime like the beginning of the year, but like throughout that, I just I've had little nicks and knacks for like I've had like some high flare ups. I'm like, oh, that's weird, and then just got progressively worse and worse and worse, like to the point where like I was allergic to eggs, even though I've never been allergic to eggs. Like I had an allergic reaction to eggs
Interesting.
2 weeks ago, right? And my
Yeah.
whole back, my arms, my legs, I was just covered in hives. It was the worst thing, man. It was crazy, and I've been feeling better. It's just basically my immune system was just got haywire for a little bit. Like so, everything was basically that everything was just basically allergic. I was allergic to everything. So my body's like, all right, screw it, just attack everything. I've been feeling better now, and then in that same time that's happening, I messed up my foot again, or my ankle, and it felt like I hyperextended it, or like I sprained it, and I wasn't able to walk for 2 weeks. I'm still getting better of it now, man. But like, yeah, it's been a thing. I know you have had some stuff going on in your life as
I
well.
did. Unfortunately, and for those who have been a fan of our podcast for the last couple of years, which by the way, I think this month we will celebrate technically 2 years um, of doing this show. We started this in May of 2020, right at the very beginning of the pandemic. And it was funny is it literally took the uncertainty of the pandemic to light a fire under Jr. and I's ass to get this done. And long story to tell a story to tell a story. Um, I was unsure in March of 2020 if I was going to be able to go back to work. I work in sales in for a company in a business that is uh, been since declared an essential business, yada yada yada. But I had bought a new computer and equipment to potentially have to work from home. When I didn't have to work from home, JR was like, dude, let's put that laptop to good use. Let's start this damn podcast. He told me about, I did some research on some microphones, got myself a little more portable microphone. And for those who don't know, for the betterment of our show, for the better part of the beginning of our show, actually, I was recording from the master bedroom of my house. So yeah, there was that. I had a first couple episodes recorded actually in bed, and then actually I set up a little table in my room, and then we made this office over the last period of the last year or so. But anyway, so shortly after our 1 year anniversary last year, I went on a whirlwind trip to the Midwest to visit my wife's family, including her grandmother, who we were uncertain how long she had left uh, with us. And we got to spend some great time, about 2 or 3 days with her. Unfortunately, nearly a year later, my wife's grandmother went on to her great reward and is no longer with us. And so my wife, in an emergency had to fly back to Indiana, spend time with her family, get to see her sister and some of her cousins, and we got to spend some good time with family and laugh and love and live and have a good time. It was apparently a nice service. It was one of those um, kind of a service of relief, so to speak. It was a joyous occasion, a true celebration of life. So I know that her grandfather, who is a great man, served the Lord for many many years as a minister in Indiana. Really is kind of has a new life, so to speak, now that his wife is no longer in pain and suffering. So I appreciate the people who sent their well wishes, including Jr. And so, with that said, now I could have very easily recorded, but when you don't have your partner in crime, daddy daycare is 24/7, and
Yeah.
there was no way in hell I was recording a podcast and letting my kids run the asylum, no pun intended to Chick, outside of this office. So we punted. I asked for one of the very few parlays that I get. Jr. is uh, asked for quite a few, and I graciously obliged. But the guy's got a lot going on, and so that's where we're at, guys. And unfortunately, we weren't the first one to the party, and so a
Yeah.
few people out there have covered the final two episodes of Moon Knight, but
Great.
no
Yeah.
one cool. We were not like fuck them,
No,
boo.
no, 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 no. Yeah.
We had our own different spin on it.
Yeah.
I have since, per the request of some of our friends from the asylum and some old friends of mine, to rank after I put out my ranking on the MCU. Hey, why don't you rank the MCU TV shows? And if you're on my Instagram page, you know where I rank Moon Knight, so it's no secret that I ranked it my favorite Disney Plus show of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, with that said, Jr. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
let's see, where's it at? It's been a minute since I've done this. Let me find the button. Son of a bitch, where did it go? Oh, it's over here. Banners. That's it.
Mm.
He is J.R. Kambakungan, and also not J.R. Comics 42 on Instagram.
Mhm.
I am Kevin Pillow at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms, and this is our review of episodes 5 and 6 of Moon Knight.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to talk about some stuff at the tail end of the show.
Yep.
We're going to flip flop news and notes. I just want to talk about some of the stuff at the end of the show, but let's get right into Moon Knight. Where we last left Mark Spector and Stephen Grant in episode 4, I believe, is where they were in the they were locked in the insane asylum after Mark Spector was shot in the tomb. He died. Then all of a sudden, wait a minute, Mark Spector is in a wheelchair in an insane asylum, and inevitably in episode 4 he meets up with Mark or Stephen Grant and whatnot, and then of course the hungry hippo of the what is it, represented the fertility god or the love god?
It was the love. Yeah, it was a different god, I think, or it was the same. I can't remember which goddess it was. Where she is a friend of
Mark
Khonshu. No, Khonshu.
Oh, Khonshu. I'm sorry.
I just forgot because the she had an if I remember correctly, in like episode 2, I think, it's episode 2, where Khonshu brought all of the godheads together, right? And there was already an avatar. I don't know if it was her avatar or a different goddess, but I do know that, oh man, it has been a minute since the last.
Yeah, there was a woman who played the woman who was the avatar for the hippo god. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah.
The woman is friends with Mark Spector, I believe. But in the god world, the two gods, Khonshu and this god, also were
it's
friends.
I guess, but no, the woman who was the avatar was, I guess, just by extension a friend of whoever
Oh, you're right.
Avatar was. Yeah. But more so, where we left off there, just it's most likely been being about just our thoughts on Moon Knight's episode 5 and 6. Really strong episodes. I know that there's very, very strong episodes. There has been a consistent theme upon a lot of the Disney Plus Marvel Marvel stream shows where it's about mental health in a very strong regard, and we see that we very much see that throughout episode 5. You see the uncovering of past sins, specifically in Mark Spector,
Yeah.
and understanding, how he became who he is, type of ideal. And we see that very much. I can't say in the beginning per se. I'm gonna flip flop because it has been a minute since I watched the episode. But yeah, man, just seeing Mark and Steven, Steven's journey into Mark's psyche, and who he became to be, and like how definitely if there's anything to say specifically about childhood trauma and abuse, it can happen from multiple angles. Trauma and grief can take so many forms, and that I just can't stress the importance of being a parent and having the emotional coherency to raise a child, man. That's crazy. I understand that, spoilers, but it's been a minute. The reason why Mark is who he is because he accidentally got his brother killed. He's a child, and it's a horrendous thing. It is definitely a horrendous thing to accept as a parent, where you bury your child before they bury you. That's a horrendous thing to partake, man. But like, you still have a child left, and his mother was just physically, mentally abusive, emotionally abusive to this child.
And it does address a little bit. And again, this is no talking about abuse. And again, if you are a part of if you're in an abusive family or abusive relationship, please reach out for help.
Yeah.
Simply as a text message. And by the way, there's our text number, and it's not to be a cheap plug, but if you feel that you need to reach out to us, we'll point you in the right direction. We're definitely two friendly guys that are an outlet to listen and stuff like that.
Yeah. I will state though, before you continue, that we aren't professionals. So
absolutely not.
Yeah.
I've always been a good shoulder to cry on, but I'm a good listener. But we'll
absolutely listen, but it's just more so we are not trained professionals in the sense of like having to deal with traumatic experience in that sense. But it is a great tool to have for more so just like understanding that if you are having a lot of backseat trauma from childhood, it's always great to go to professional help. But then continue on your point, my friend. And hi from Austin. Hi, Austin from Utah.
Hey, Austin. Yeah, of course. What's up from Utah? Always good to see people from Utah saying what's up. It's a good state. Been there a couple times. Looking to go back and visit some family in the Salt Lake area. We'll get into some side stories about hockey here later on in the episode, because I want to talk about that. It ties into the local whatever. Anyways, it goes to, and it's really tough because there is being a parent of two, being a parent of a very similar split between Mark and I forget what the brother's name is, which by the way was very accurate in the comics. Mark Spector does experience that trauma. Again, I'll say it throughout the episode. Bravo to the writing team. Bravo to the director. Everyone who worked on Moon Knight. One of the best adaptations of the source material we have seen in any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe platforms or mediums, whatever you want to call it. They took some creative licensing in some cases, but for the most part, they pulled so much content from the 1970s to the 80s to the late 90s and a lot from the 2000s, especially the 2015 run and on. A lot of ode to some great artwork. But yeah, just bravo, a great job on adapting the source material. I think it was one of the, and again, this is coming from someone who was not a Moon Knight fan. I have Moon Knight books. I've perused them, but having gone back and seen some other people review the books prior to the show, and literally opening the books and saying, like, this is what they talk about in this issue, in this
Mhm.
run, and then seeing it put on the screen, especially these last two episodes, with them being in the alternate universe with the psych ward, and then the one where they're in the dream world, which was
Yeah.
also took place in episode 5, where they were trying to balance out the heart,
Mhm.
and find inner peace. But yeah, great job. I want to address on something, and I want to get
Yeah.
your opinion on this, Jared. Going back to that scene where we see Mark Spector, um, portrayed by Oscar Isaac,
Yeah.
so adult form. Actually, I think it was at the time it was Stephen Grant. He was in the idea, in the mind of Stephen Grant,
Yeah.
because of the not the drama, but the heartache that was about to come. It was Stephen Grant who was in possession of the body when he was watching little Mark and his
Mhm.
brother go into that cave.
Yep.
Now, there is a moment where he is viewing that, and he, meaning Oscar Isaac, adult form Stephen Grant,
Yeah.
steps on something. He looks down, and it is the skeleton of a bird. Now, the skeleton of the bird is very similar to that of Khonshu. It looks exactly like it. And that there is a theory that Khonshu, who is in his throughout the episode, was being accused by not only Haro,
Yep.
but also by inevitably the alligator god
Uh, Amit.
Amet, for being very self-centered, being a very selfish god,
Mhm.
and which of course is just the sidetrack, which is not selfish but jealous. Is the word I was looking for. So I'm not going to go with the point that I was going to say. But anyways,
Yeah.
a very self-centered and selfish god.
Mhm.
That there's a theory going around that he had been observing Mark Spector since an early age to be his avatar, and that somehow, some way, Khonshu had had a hand in Mark Spector's younger brother dying, and that was a symbol of Khonshu being present in the death scene, so to speak,
Mhm.
of Mark's younger brother. So I don't know. There wasn't a lot of evidence other than the skeleton remains of the bird that looked similar to that of Khonshu,
Yeah.
to lead to that, but it does lead to a lot of what why Arthur Harrow and eventually Amit to say that he was selfish and it's all
Okay.
about him and he would do anything. So any idea and any thoughts on that theory that
As
Khonshu had his brother killed?
It's a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't have asked it. Granted, we might never get into because there has, sadly, sad to say, there has yet to be a green light for season 2 of Moon Knight. I wouldn't put it past it, but like at the same time, I feel like the that specific scene was just more so rather than Khonshu quote unquote playing his part into it. I feel like it's a more so a metaphor into saying that this is the lead up into how Mark became so broken in type of sense, right? It's metaf- uh conspiracy theories and all that stuff has been out there. Theories, all that has been out
Yeah.
for quite a while, and so like I usually don't pay much into it type of sense, right? I try not to because of the sheer fact that like I specifically with like let's say the last Spider-Man movie, I hate getting into theories where like if it happens, I've been spoiled way before I even thought about it, type of thing, and instead of having that type of like confirmation bias. I want to get I just want to go into it looking at it for what it is, and I don't know, just looking at it now, seeing how that specific scene where it's Steven stepping on this skeleton bird, it just I feel more it's a just a metaphor of like how this is the continual road into Khonshu, into accepting Khonshu type of
And
thing. That's
that's the
how
way
I
I
feel.
took it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I feel. More so too, and just to get on more points, the what is it? There were two. There was two different gods. There is the god of love, which had the avatar Yatsil, right, played by Diana Bermudez. The gotta love is Hathor. She was the friend, or she still is the friend of Khonshu, and as well as the
Hippopotamus.
hippopotamus god. I can English sometimes. Is the is Taweret. Taweret?
Oh, okay.
Taweret, yeah. And so, but like going onward, man, just that was a hard episode to take. Not so hard, but
It
it
was
was a
no.
very heavy episode. It was a very heavy episode where thankfully there is yet to truly paint, for Disney specifically, they have yet to truly paint like this huge picture of like childhood trauma that happens with boys, right? Specifically with neglectful parents. Granted, we always see the side of like the how the father's the neglectful one, man, but like trauma can come to both sides, type of thing, right? And not to say that, oh, cool, equality bullcrap. Oh, we know now that moms can beat their kids. It's not anything like that. It's just
Yeah.
more so like how this can truly build up into guys, and how where when in that point then can boys find proper motivation to have masculinity, right? Especially when, as much as I got love for his father, he didn't do shit. His dad let that happen, type of
That
stuff.
that was very strange. And I remember they talked about in some of the other wrap up videos that there was in the comics it's more addressed as to the reason why his dad was very kind of a
Non-compliant.
pushover. Not,
Yeah.
and I think too was and maybe it goes beyond it maybe it just didn't get addressed, but that he could have been that the father could have easily been talking to Mark
Mm.
um behind the
But
scenes, like we didn't
yeah,
see him,
yeah.
and that I want to say too that some were saying that the theory going around is that the dad
Mm.
maybe yes agreed should have done more, but
Hmm.
was the one like who introduced him to the physical Stephen Grant, which of course
Yeah.
is a fictional character
Hmm.
that Mark Spector watched as a child on a
Yeah.
kind of a Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
kind of
I
a knockoff Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, I do feel, yeah, now that you're bringing up behind the scenes stuff, I do feel when it comes to trauma specifically that we always tend to, and I put myself in this too. We always tend to see to remember the people who don't help out, type of stuff, when it comes to trauma and those times of abuse. And even though there's been multiple times where they've helped out and we just don't remember, because those points of trauma we always tend to remember way more than the times
Yeah,
that people do help and give a leading hand. Granted, yeah, that's a key thing too, and I hope that they can at least shed some light. Like, hey, the dad wasn't. Maybe the dad was a pushover. Maybe he wasn't. Or maybe the dad. Maybe because I'm looking from my own experience with this. Right.
yeah,
Sometimes I feel like when I'm in that level of hurt and pain, I don't. The people that have consistently helped me out before, if when they didn't help me at that one time, I immediately think, oh, they never helped me out anymore. Right? They've never helped me before, even though you've seen it multiple times. You know, you know, without the initial trauma point where they've helped me, and even afterwards, I do feel then like these are moments where it does pinpoint where it shows, yeah, man, like when we do relive trauma, we tend to just basically, understandably just see what happens to us and not more so the whole picture. We always have this tunnel vision view of like that's the pain happiness. Like instead of like maybe we didn't see the Neville thing where like his dad was fighting her to not go up the stairs and ultimately beat him. We didn't hear that part. Maybe we didn't see that part. And so like it's definitely a tricky subject to get into, and it's definitely a multifaceted thing to see, specifically when you have to have it take a step back and really look at the full scene, type of thing. And so that's a great point to have where like maybe he was behind the scenes, maybe it was something happening there. Like you want to ultimately give parents the benefit of the doubt that they've tried their best, that they have tried the best they can with the situation that was given to them. Granted, I do still feel that his dad could have helped out way more by
yeah.
not having his mom, take out the whip and beat him, type of stuff. And so, or the belt and beat him, and like that's just like wow, yeah, It is definitely a thing. I think just for me, man, I hate how like men are depicted specifically in Disney movies where it's they are seen as weak and non-compliant or weak and compliant towards that type of stuff, man. It just always rubs me the wrong way. Not to say that I want the full on chauvinistic, misogynistic male type thing. Like no, dude, it's like why it's so hard to find a strong male figure in a strong father male figure in the Disney community nowadays, and not have them die in the first movie. You know?
It's that Uncle Ben effect. They I don't know. They either have to have them die or
Yeah.
they have to make everybody else stronger.
They had freaking Aunt May last what 4 movies, man. She lasted 4 movies, bro. And then Uncle Ben always dies in the first one. Asian father dies in the first. He was seen as a horrible fucking prick, but then you figure out that no, he has trauma too, and so he dies in the first movie. Fucking the only again, this is my ranting. I apologize. The only reputable Asian male that has ever been in a Disney movie that has a long period of time in the movie. Even though I love Wong, was Gilgamesh, and he died saving a white woman. I'm like, come on, man. The most well versed, not well versed, but like emotionally well versed person willing to take care of another individual for hundreds of years, sacrifice himself because she was right, supposedly in a thing, and it was just like, come on, guys. So going back to
Really,
this,
yeah. Real quick though, before you bring up a good point, I want to sidebar here for a second with Gilgamesh and the Eternals, which spoiler alert has led to the unveiling of a very pivotal character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is Blade. Um, have you seen? Sidebar, and I'm not. And by the way, I'm going to
yeah,
spoil this much.
yeah,
Blade is not in Doctor Strange.
yeah.
With that said, because I didn't want people to get confused here, going from Blade, then me asking Jr. Jr. Have you seen Doctor Strange?
I have not. I was actually gonna go see it today, and then you gave me a text saying that hey, we should
Okay.
do the thing.
All right. So, with that said, all
Yeah.
I'm going to say about the Multiverse of Madness, which I think is going to be a statement unspoilery, because I think it was a foregone conclusion what I'm about to say. But
Mhm.
between what we've seen in the first 5 episodes of Moon Knight,
Yeah.
the the graphic violence, um, at times a little edgy language. I think they snuck in an f bomb and once
Couple, couple,
and said shit at least 2 or 3 times.
a couple times. Yeah.
And then seeing such an edgy storytelling with a violent mother, though they did not see Mark physically being beaten as a child.
You heard it.
But
You heard it.
you heard it. It was insinuated. It would be rough and be a trigger for a lot of people.
Yeah.
With the edgy, violent content, though, I
Yeah.
will say that what we've seen with Moon Knight and what we have seen with Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange
Yeah.
and what Wesley Snipes and the Blade character did in the '90s is
Hmm.
two different things. I'm not going to
Absolutely.
deny that,
Hmm.
but it shows. And I don't know if again you be the judge of the Multiverse of Madness when you eventually go see it. But we
Yeah.
know Sam Raimi's history, and I will say this: that Sam Raimi's version of Doctor Strange is more on par with his uh, previous movie quality, i.e., Evil Dead
Yeah.
and
I was
the
gonna say.
that series of movies than his Spider Man, which was some jump scares, but
Hmm.
the horror, so to speak, leans a little bit more towards Evil Dead than the Tobey Maguire Spider Man movies, which
Yeah.
weren't scary. They were just a little maybe some jump scares and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think? Just sidebar. Do you have high hopes for Mahershala Ali's Blade? And possibly maybe not full rated R, but maybe an envelope pushing PG-13 or a light R.
If it was a solo outing, I'm hoping for an R. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Maybe it's gonna be PG-13 push, but I feel like it's gonna be more so in the mid tier to bottom tier PG-13s in the sense of like almost PGS because like the way that Marvel's been going, he's gonna have somebody with him. He's gonna have somebody with him, and
Yeah,
so it's gonna be
but
some type of buddy buddy movie where it's maybe it might be the Dark Knight or no it might be not Dark Knight but who's what's oh my gosh I want to say Jon Snow but what's his actual name?
the Black Knight,
Black Knight, yeah.
with with Jon Snow. I always refer to him the same way. I have
Yeah.
Kit Harington, Kit Harington's
Harrison,
character
yeah,
of
yeah.
oh my god, Dean
Doc,
Whitman.
yeah, Demon. So I'm thinking like
Oh,
it's
we
gonna
went
be.
fucking full circle trying to get to fucking Dean Whitman.
That's what I'm saying, right? And so like I think it might be a buddy movie again, like the way that Marvel's been doing. I don't know if they're ever gonna do a edgy full PG-13 going into
Buddy cop
going
movie
into
with
R.
Blade would be rough. I don't think you can do that. I mean, but we've
They
been
try to
proven
do it.
wrong before.
Yeah, they try to do in Blade 3 with Ryan Reynolds. So so there's
Speaking of
that.
which, they are in pre-production. They have a director. They have the writers.
All I'm
They're
saying
doing
is that
Deadpool 3, and they did. Ryan said he wouldn't do it unless it was rated R. So
yeah, all I'm saying is that if I see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool anywhere near Blade movie, and he put and knowing Ryan, he's gonna pull out some Blade 3 shit, like, oh, you're different. You're more different than the last time I saw you, type of stuff, right? I'm gonna just lose it. But I do feel that it's like just the whole thing of like have 2 stars in one film or multiple stars in one film. You see that we saw that already, or I'm going to see it already with oh my gosh, I forgot his name. In Multiverse of Madness I forgot both their names. Why am I losing it today? The
Strange.
no the actual stars.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
Benedict Cumberbatch and
Benedict Wong.
no Olsen.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen.
Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah, Mono Macbeth. So and just you go back to like since what was the very first iteration of like where Marvel was started to do this whole thing where we have 2 stars one movie consistently. What Iron Man and Spidey?
Probably that.
Spider-Man 1?
I mean, you go through. I mean, War Machine was always there. I guess they
Yeah.
did War Machine in Iron Man 2. And
Like budget
was
wise, like you want to
technically
say
there in Iron Man 3.
yeah,
Cap had Bucky, but that was the comic book. Cap
yeah,
had Bucky in the comic books.
yeah.
Thor had this
And
not really Thor was him by himself. Thor
I
the Dark
Thor,
World was him by himself.
Thor and Loki, but still though.
Thor and Loki, so to speak, in Dark World.
Yeah,
Ragnarok, he had Valkyrie
yeah. He had Tom
and,
Hiddleston as well.
the Revenge. Or were they calling them the Revengers or
The
the?
Avengers, yeah. It's more so I'm talking from the point of like when I see 2 stars of prominence, right? Two
I would
very
say
prominent stars.
probably Spider-Man: Homecoming was
Yeah,
probably I
the
can
the
think of.
beginning of it. Yeah,
No,
so like
obviously not counting the Avenger movies
yeah,
and Civil War. That doesn't
yeah.
count.
It's just more so like the beginning of this new trend of like you're gonna have these 2 stars are most likely gonna have like anywhere between $10 to $15 million, but not between them, but like more so we're gonna pay them both that amount, and then those two are the headliners. Gonna continue to this trend with Marvel, and so like you had it from them, then you had it with Ragnarok, and then you had it with I want to say Black Panther, but there's never any. There, it was just more. Oh, no, just Black Panther. Black Panther provides still of that. Then you had it with the most recent iteration with Multiverse of Madness, and
Yeah.
so I feel like it's gonna be another one of those things where Blade is gonna have another star with him. Granted, Mahershala Ali is the only star you need because it's Mahershala freaking Ali.
And remember,
But
it was his pitch too. So I think he doesn't own, he's not going to be the screenwriter, but it was his idea.
Yeah.
But the problem with Blade is outside of him being with, what was it called? The something Suns?
Yeah, Midnight Suns.
The Midnight Suns. Blade really isn't with
Solo. Yeah, he's a solo guy.
So he's so. I will say this to address what Jr. is saying is that obviously Ryan Reynolds played a character in Blade Trinity.
Yep.
So it marks not 1, not 2, not 3, but he technically has played 4 different characters in the
Marvel.
Marvel universe.
Yep.
Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel universe. And for those who don't know, obviously Blade is a Marvel movie. The Blade movies were Marvel movies.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you read the history of the Marvel Studios book that came out about Christmas time last year, technically, Marvel Studios was created, an actual company was created to make Blade. Now, is it an official Marvel Studios presents Blade? No, that is going to be the Mahershala Ali. But Marvel Studios was created, blah, 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 if you want to get technical. But anyways,
Yeah.
not. So we have Ryan Reynolds plays in Blade Trinity. Plays,
Yeah.
I don't know what the character's name is. He plays Deadpool in
Mhm.
Wolverine
Yep.
Origins, where he plays Wade Wilson / Weapon 11, technically. So he plays Wade Wilson in that. Then, of course, he famously plays Deadpool, and he technically plays himself.
That's right.
In a post-credit scene in Deadpool 2, where
Yeah.
Wade Wilson kills Ryan
Kills
Reynolds
himself.
before he can make Green Lantern. Thought it was interesting. And now we're going to see we'll probably most likely see Deadpool at some point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe doing some kind of multiverse crap, which will be really, really fun. Going back, though, to Moon Knight, I want to get into the background we see here is that we see inevitably through this traumatic event, Mark Spector realizes that he fabricated Stephen Grant, a fictional character that he watched on TV. He manifested him and became an alter ego to deal with pain. With that said, Stephen Grant in physical form, portrayed by Oscar Isaac, kind of realizes that he's nothing more than a manifestation of Mark Spector's imagination. He sacrifices himself so that Mark Spector could have peace and go into the great beyond, which I forgot what it's called, but it's basically Valhalla, I guess you'd say.
No,
heaven.
The Fields of Reeds. Stephen Grant, and as much hate or as much fucking not hate, but more so much shit I give Stephen before too. It was him prior. Yeah, the visible manifestation of Stephen, it does stem from just Mark running away from his problems. That's the biggest thing. Mark has run away from, granted, understandably so, he runs away from it. There's this one pivotal scene in the episode where you see Stephen go back to memory where Mark is there during the death of his mother or the funeral of his mother.
Yeah.
Right. And his dad tries to come inside. He sees him around the street trying to walk inside, and Mark goes no. He goes out into the middle of the street, starts crying and breaking down, and because he never reconciled with his mom. He left that estate when he was really younger, I guess. Yeah, and then he breaks down, and from that point, Stephen takes the alternative identity of Stephen takes over, and that's when Stephen sees that. Stephen is watching Mark turn to Stephen, which is an interesting, weird type of thing, kind of seems to kind of just block in general for just a filming aspect. And so I gotta give Oscar Isaac so much fucking credit, just playing a very multifaceted role in this specific time. But how you see him, how you just see Stephen really come to terms hey, okay, I was there because I was there to protect you, type of thing. And the fight scene specifically, where sacrifice is one, I don't know if sacrifice is one thing, because I don't think, I'm not trying to say Stephen doesn't have it in him to sacrifice himself for someone else. I just feel like Stephen not being able to really truly master any type of martial arts abilities kind of just went headflong into this thing, and one of these sand alternate identity, not one of these sand depictions of who Mark killed in his past, I guess, was attacking Mark, and then Stephen clotheslined the guy, and they both went out of the ship. We see that Stephen then sacrifices himself in order to save Mark, and that's where the scene ends in episode 5, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, the scene ends right here, and when Mark will go into the Field of Reeds type thing. I will say too. I just remember this point. The the alternate the afterlife is supposedly in Marvel different depictions of consciousness type of thing. What you
Interesting.
view, yeah, what you view the afterlife, right? Is what how you view the afterlife is basically the this culmination of consciousness, what people view or think of, because they're if you remember, the hippopotamus god also talked about, oh, you should talk about other afterlives as well, or Field of Green, the Everclear, I think, or something of that nature. And so that's a great depiction to see. That's an interesting depiction to see. But
And
going
it's
on to episode 6, go ahead.
and it's very interesting too, is that what I like about this, and I like about the Marvel universe and how they deal with religion and faith and stuff like that. Obviously, they address Mark Spector's character, faith, being a man of Jewish faith.
Mhm.
They address that, of course, albeit briefly, with just more symbolism than anything, with him wearing a yarmulke and then refusing to go into his mother's
Yeah.
wake. Is that they are not trying to say that one religion is um, better than the other. They've referenced everything. You look at um, Steve Rogers referencing, "Hey, that's not God doesn't basically God doesn't dress like that," referring to Thor and
Mhm.
referencing that there's only one God, ma'am, and he doesn't dress like that, meaning that Steve
Yeah.
Rogers believes in the Christian God.
Judeo-Christian God, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, you have Mark Spector, who obviously believes also in a form of God. Maybe doesn't believe in the Holy Trinity. Um, but and when I say that, I don't mean Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. But we also see, obviously, in this show, or actually in Doctor Strange 1, we talk about there is Hinduism and Buddhism spoken about. The Eternals, obviously loosely based on versions of Greek gods, which we
Mhm.
know now, wink, are going to exist in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mhm.
And now that we deal with the Egyptian gods in this one, uh, as someone of faith who believes in the Christian God, who is a Christian, I have no problem with this. By the way, anyone who's complaining about it and are trying to dogpile on this on the indoctrination, it really pays no attention to the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
and that Marvel, who since day one has always been a super inclusive group to take into all things. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
just Christianity. It can be Judaism,
Yep.
it can be Catholicism, it can be
All
Buddhism, Hinduism.
all I'm saying too is that if you're in any type of religion, right, and is then very apprehensive or in some cases aggressive towards this depiction of like, oh, you can't be other gods. Why are you watching a Marvel episode?
Yeah,
Why are you partaking in Marvel? Why are you protecting Marvel media? If anything, too, any like if you want to talk about false idols, come on, stop it.
yeah.
Just stop it. Type of
And
thing.
again, I'm a Christian, and I know that by the letter of the law, a lot of these shows are blasphemy and stuff like that. But I can tell the difference between fun fiction and having a good time,
Mhm.
and still being able to enjoy my faith and in my beliefs, and not just be a miserable dickhead. So I believe what I believe in, and I can have fun and still watch this. Come on, people.
Mhm.
Have fun. So with that said, moving on, like Jared said, to episode 6, we do see, like you said, Mark Spector,
Yep.
um,
Steven Rant. Yeah.
in the Field of Reeds. He comes to fruition that he essentially needs Stephen Grant.
Yeah.
Goes and saves him and stuff like that. That was kind of a cool moment. I didn't know how they were saying it. Still have not seen Jake Lockley. What the hell? So are we going to see him? We see them somehow get back to life. And again, I'm going to pull up IMDb because I
Yeah.
really don't want to get anybody's names wrong. But the lady who plays Mark Spector's wife
Wife? Oh, her. Yeah. She's
is so fantastic and
Meg.
underrated.
Yeah, Meg Calamway. Yeah. Who plays Layla?
Meg uh,
Cala-
Kalamawa. Come
Kalamua?
Kalamawe, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
May, who plays
yeah,
Layla God, her fake last name is just as confusing as her real last name.
yeah.
Layla. Oh, sorry, that is the character's name.
Uncultured. That
Layla
is character name. Yeah,
El
Layla.
was flipping fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the character. May did a great job. I
Mhm.
know people are going like, "Who is she in the comic books?" She's an amalgamation of two different characters.
Yep.
Layla does exist in the comic books, but she's also an amalgamation of of Mark Spector's actual love interest in the comic books.
Yeah.
So a great job, and super stoked that she got to don her own costume. What did
Yeah.
you think of what do they call it?
Scarab.
The Crimson Scarab or the
Scarlet.
something
The
Scarab?
Scarlet.
Scarlet Scarab.
Scarab. Yeah. I seen so many different depictions. Not different depictions, but like when I first saw it, I'm like, ah, cool. They're trying to go the Wonder Woman route, right?
Okay, I was not the only one who saw that then. Okay.
Right. Specifically because of Wonder Woman 84, right? Or whatever it was. And so
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, oh, cool. They're giving her wings. They're doing all this stuff there, but her wings are made of blades, and she looks freaking awesome. I loved it. It's a minimalistic look, which I do like. I do enjoy
Yes.
that. The Wonder Woman specifically was too damn much, too damn much. But
I will say what I did
this
like
one-
about it
yeah,
is it drew a lot of attention to
yeah,
especially the current run of both of the in it's good the Wonder Woman, definitely a very Wonder Woman esque, but
yeah.
the what's the new version of Wonder Woman?
Oh, the
I
current
know
one?
there's Wonder Girl, but like I said, very
Yeah,
minimalistic.
yeah.
But it has that more. I wish I had one of the comics to show what I was talking about. But it basically, the
It's culture
future state,
appropriate.
the
It's
future,
cultural.
the more
Yeah,
future state
yeah.
version of Wonder Woman. Basically
Which
the darker
which
skinned Wonder Woman,
oh the actual
actual
Amazonian.
Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I got
It's
that
yeah.
vibe. And Layla's hair. I love the big poofy hair. It was so cool. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
It looks good. I feel like the way they dress her specifically too will it makes that feature of her very much very much what you first realize, right?
Yeah,
Because if for majority of the series, or other thing I think other than like episode 1 and 2, right? It feels like her hair was always tied down, and then for this one specifically, where her her tank top or whatever or her shirt was very had neutral colors, was a white, but then, yeah, just
I
her
love
hair
that.
exploded, and that's the first thing you see. And I'm like, damn, that looks really freaking great. That's
Hell yeah.
really really good. That's a great look. And so yeah, that's the first thing my eyes pointed to. Cool. Her weapons amazing. You just go into the episode, man. We don't have to really break down the whole freaking thing. It was great.
No,
I enjoy. I felt like, damn, it's gonna be one of those, it's gonna be one of those episodes where it's gonna be a really bad, not really bad, but like it's gonna be in comparison to the previous episode, it's gonna be this decline again of Marvel Plus shows. Nah, man, it was great throughout. For me, it was really great throughout. There was a weird third arc in it, right? Of where Harlow was immediately defeated, but like the leading up to it, the reconciliation between both, not reconciliation, but more so the um the admiration, as well as like confirmation that, yeah, you can't have Mark without Steven, type of thing. That was a
yeah.
great thing to see. The acceptance of both of them. It was a very Naruto moment for those who understand that. It was a very Naruto anime moment, and I love that. Uh, the whole the whole economy between yeah, that right there. If you just take off our screens, man, just seeing
I
that
wish I
picture.
could. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna.
I'm just gonna do it. Wait, yeah, there you go. I'll keep yeah. Well, for our listeners on our podcast format or our audio format, man, we have a picture of the Scarlet Scarab out here, and she looks amazing, dude.
Oh,
That lighting
it's
is
so good.
amazing, dude. And I love that. It's very neutral colors. It's not being too bombastic, all Wonder Woman. It looks
Yeah,
great. It's very cultural appropriate type of thing, right? She looks
yeah.
very Egyptian, and that's amazing. That's amazing to see. They're doing it fucking right. So,
Um,
but going on to no, going on to how do you like the this the I can't say symbiotic because they're not really, but the relationship now between Mark and and Steven, how they switch, and when they had the Moon Knight powers back and they switch back and forth, talking to Khonshu. That was awesome for me.
that was one of my favorite moments was when they do bring Khonshu back,
Yeah.
and he there's that moment where Stephen Grant wants to kind of be in charge, and he says something about, you we got to get to
Whatever our
I
terms.
we whatever they basically had to get to Cairo, and like Mr. Knight was like, Mark, you take over. And he's
Yeah.
like, he's like, boom, and just kind of takes it. There was so much cool things
Yeah.
about it. Just
Awesome tag team. Awesome tag team.
really, really liked it. And again, if you didn't like it, I'm trying to be more proactive,
Hmm.
be more understanding about people's opinions in
Hmm.
this day and age of things where we're allowed to have um, different opinions, and they may differ from us, and maybe they don't fit into your ideology. But
I'm gonna say one sarcastic comment, just one. All right, just give me one. You're allowed to have different opinions. The only difference is that one of them gets turned into law somehow.
yeah, um,
That's all I can say.
if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I didn't. I was very worried about Moon Knight when they announced it. When it was all said and done, other than the gigantic info dump that Disney did in December of 2020,
Hmm.
um, the information that we knew about the Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus shows that had been announced through San Diego Comic Con of 2019 and D23 in 2019, and
Hmm.
all the information else that came out in 2019, all the shows that we knew prior to the pandemic, I was like, every time they announced, I'm ready for that one. I'm ready for that one.
Hmm.
Moon Knight had me intrigued the most.
Yeah.
And then, and it's really funny is, and I'll bring up my list because I want to go over and see um, where you
Hmm.
rank your MCU shows so far.
Only six of them.
There's been only six
Yeah.
MCU shows so
Hmm.
far, with plenty more. By the way,
Um.
being announced, being announced so far, and we'll get to that in just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Marvel has officially, kind of unofficially announced
Yeah.
uh, that there are, at least three, maybe four more Disney Plus shows coming out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Yeah.
this year. We'll get to
Okay.
that in just a moment. But I was the most intrigued about this show, and it's funny looking at my top three,
Hmm.
the intrigue, and then going back to 2019, my
Yeah.
top three of my favorite so far of the six shows are the three shows I was intrigued the most about,
Okay.
and I think that goes to the three shows that they did were the most groundbreaking, the most thought provoking, and the most edgy shows that they did. I'll get to that
Hmm.
in just a moment. We get through this episode. Great fight scenes, um, gigantic gamble, pun intended, with
Yeah.
the
Kaiju battle.
the kaiju battle between gigantic Amit and gigantic Khonshu
Yeah.
was flipping fantastic.
Yeah. That was great. That's where their
The
budget went. That's where their budget went.
the exactly the simplicity of Layla's costume, the Scarlet Scarab's costume, and the nod, and you can see it again if you just. I know we can't take the pictures off completely without interrupting the show, but
Yeah.
just you can see from the waist down in the picture that's on the website on the video broadcast right now, very Egyptian, very ancient Egyptian inspired. So is the
Yeah.
rest of the costume, and like I said, if you saw the rest of it, you would see what JR and I were talking about. Very
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, very much more future state Wonder Woman inspired, but it is very similar to that of Scarlet Scarab's actual uh,
Yeah,
comic book costume.
yeah.
Um,
I will say too, just going into the actual fight scene where they had the fight scene where it was the combination of Mister Knight and Moon Knight, right? You see this great play of when Harlow goes back and he had control of the ultimate control of Ammit, and she's seen as the Avatar, blah 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 blah. Note to the actual Avatar movie dropping in trailer a couple of days ago. We will talk about all that stuff in the next couple of days. Hopefully in the next big podcast. But uh, the I'm happy they finally showed off what you can do with the Eskrima sticks. Basically, those big two white sticks that Mr. Knight has. And those Eskrima
oh
sticks.
yeah,
That is my culture. That is
yeah.
Filipino
I
kids.
knew you were gonna like that.
That is Filipino stick fighting 101. I have that. It's great, awesome. I love it. I don't know how Egyptian it is, but then hey man, I just love to see it. I love to see my
I
culture in different parts.
But that's the thing is Mr. Knight is a very ambiguous character in where is his fight style come from, because to me he has a very, and not to be disrespectful to the Filipino culture and
Hmm.
Asian culture, but the feeling I got from Mr. Knight and the business suit and his fighting styles is there is very much a Eastern, um, Far East kind of influence. I don't want to say ninja or something like that and be
No, no.
offensive. Um, but I always got a vibe from Mr. Knight of what's the Japanese mafia?
Yakuza?
Yakuza. Very, to me, very Yakuza vibe.
Mm,
Just because it's because of his fight. It's very there's to me, and again, I'm not versed in fighting, but this is
mm,
just my naivete coming out. It, it was the fluidity and the movement and stuff like that, and the use of the two sticks kind of reminded me of old Jackie Chan movies, and with the combination of a very far east fight style mixed with the business suit, it kind of had like I said, a kind of a yakuza hand-to-hand fight. You know, you had the guy in a business suit and kind of a, but even though he's a
mhm.
good guy and the yakuzas are not. Um, but I don't know. That was just my personal opinion. I wholeheartedly agree with Jr. on
Mm,
the sticks. And again, in the comments, leave us. Tell us. I know Jr. probably said what they are, probably knows what they are, but leave us in the comments if you know what those actual sticks are called. I
mhm.
thought it was kind of cool, and that Stephen Grant's version of the Avatar could finally show his true colors.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely the I will put my 2 cents on it. The Eskrima sticks from the Arnis fighting system of the
yeah, Screaming
Philippines,
Sticks. I apologize.
of the Arnis fighting system of the Philippines that has been going to more prominence the last 50 years, I think. I think now. Forget how old the Arnis program is, but yeah, man, it's just awesome to see.
Yeah,
The whole thing was great. The We get tidbits of we get a great callback to where Harlow is taking down. Oh, actually, also to good as also just put it out too, where they were when Layla was saving this van, right, and then she's saving these people that's in it, this van with people in it, and then there's little girl behind her saying, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And you're like, "Yeah," like
that was cool.
hey, cool, good. That's good to see, good to see, good to see. And so that one, and then you have Harlow then taking down Moon Knight, and you have that great callback where he blacks out, and then we have this whole thing of like, oh crap, everyone's down now. What happened? Uh, we see we see Layla and Mark take Harlow back. There's the whole ritual thing where you have Ahmet trapped in his body. And we just gotta talk about it, man. That end scene was awesome. I
With
thought,
them doing them the incantation.
no, the actual end
Though
scene,
the post credit scene,
the actual end scene.
the actual
Yeah,
scene. So
yeah.
the, there's not really. much you can say in between where we
Yeah,
left off with the fight scene. And obviously,
that I, yeah,
I do like the ambiguity of
yeah,
where does Mark Spector belong? Where is he in the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe?
uh-huh.
Um, but do you? I mean, I honestly think the what we saw, the fight scenes and everything, like where we saw most of the season
Yeah,
is the reality. That out there is where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. Not the Mark Spector locked away in a
insane asylum.
inside insane asylum.
Yeah,
Um, but let's talk about what JR is talking about. Let's talk about that final scene. It's been waiting all all show long. When are we going to see the crazy side, or should I say the crazier side of Mark Spector? We see Mark Spector surrender the Avatar to Khonshu. He
hmm
will not kill Arthur Harlow. Harlow gets locked away in the actual insane asylum. So we get that question answered in the end credit scene. That really what we're seeing is again the imagination of Mark Spector getting the best of him. That really and truly the insane asylum that we see him manifest in his mind is a real insane asylum that Arthur Harrow goes to because he is possessed by the Egyptian god Amet,
hmm
um, and he's stuck inside of him and can't get out. Blah blah blah. And we see a figure say, "I got it," and takes wheels off the wheelchair, throws him inside of a limousine, um, and then we see a badass version of Khonshu,
I
and he
was
visits.
fine. I was waiting to see that Khonshu. That Khonshu in the comic books is awesome.
And that is a callback to the 2015 run of Moon
Moon Knight.
Knight. I wanted to get your opinion. So you liked the
I
basically the
love.
Mister Knight, or
Yeah,
let's call it Mister Khonshu.
yeah. It was it. Like because there's been multiple times in that comic book series where you have that version of Khonshu just talking to Mark. We don't know if it was a reality or we don't know if it was in Egypt or New York. And so you see this version of Khonshu. Like, oh, dude, that's a great depiction, man. I fucking loved it, dude. That was an awesome scene. And then you see like Khonshu having this great diatribe, and you have him knock on the window, and you see his friend. I forget it. I want to say Jack Harlow, but it's not Jack Harlow because Jack Harlow was a freaking musician.
Jake Lockley.
Jake Lockley, thank you. I don't know why I have Jack Harlow in my head right now. I think it's because his CD flopped recently. That's the reason why I'm thinking about it. But that's another thing. But yeah, you see Jake Lockley out here, and he's speaking in Spanish. Hey, he was, in the comic books, he's a New Yorker cab
Yeah.
driver,
So why wouldn't he?
an Italian New Yorker cab driver. And this one, he's speaking Spanish. And his name is still Jack Harlow. That is awesome. He sounds like he just speaks to him. He like and just kills him right then and there, guns him down. The greatest thing. Like, oh my gosh! Like they finally, Disney finally like bucked that trend of how, for me, with this episode, they bucked that trend of like how it just always continue like decline after that big point in a series. So yeah, and it started off on a great note and ended off on a better note for me. And so
It was a little. I'm trying to find a note that I was gonna use in the show, but I'll have to find it later. Um, I was like, oh, don't kill off Ethan Hawke, don't kill off Arthur Harrow. But I think that
nobody, no death.
true, nobody, no death. The old uh,
Adage.
adage of what's his name? What's the guy's name that did
Smith?
the old Joss Whedon rule? Nobody
Oh,
know that. I think they credit that too. But no, I really liked it. I thought it was a great fight, great in credit scene. And again, the credit goes to the amazing work done by
Oscar Isaac.
by Oscar Isaac. It's just
Yeah,
incredible.
man.
I want to put this out there because um, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is, are we going to see a season 2? Now, they have not officially said it. They've always kind of referred to Moon Knight as a quote limited series.
Mhm.
The What's the word I'm looking for? The Both the Moon Knight and Marvel Studios Twitter account this past week, or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the week leading up to the season finale, which was technically last week.
Mhm.
Or actually, it was on Wednesday night. Said watch tonight, and one of them said the series finale, and one of them said the season finale.
Mhm.
And the one that put series finale was the official Marvel Studios Twitter handle, which led people to believe, oh, the intern running the Moon Knight account misspoke, and it's truly a series finale.
Yeah.
But wait, both tweets were taken down, and then both the Moon Knight and the official Marvel Studios Twitter account put up watch tonight's season finale
Yeah.
of Moon Knight. So it has led to an open-ended, again, no body, no death,
Yeah.
open-ended possibility
The
that there
the
could be a season 2.
the actual and the director came out has said himself like he wants to have another season. Like you feel like that he has helped build this. There's a lot of claims from him too. I'm like, bro, kind of calm down, type of thing. Or like he helped build Moon Knight, right? Like which one, the actual series, or are we talking about the overall
What does it say? I
the
got the quote
overall
that
story?
Jared is talking about.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can find it.
it,
Moon Knight director says it would be, quote, a
uh,
waste
yeah,
not to have a season 2.
yeah. For
And
Yeah, just further
yeah,
on
well,
to that, he
go ahead.
states that like it would be a waste of time to have it, and like he has helped build the Moon Knight mythos, right? And it'd be great to have it because like it'd be
Yeah,
great to have another season. He's a great director. He's a really great director.
absolutely.
I'm loving this continual turn of Marvel picking up really great, directors with great visions, right? Trying to expand this pool, the stable per se. And so, yeah, I hope there is a second season. I hope that we see more of Layla. I hope we see more of Mark. We see more of this expansive universe of like, all right, cool. Now, what other avatars are out there now? All the avatars supposedly are dead, other than Layla and Mark, supposedly, but their gods are still out there. So, what can we see from that? I'm hoping we do get some type of confirmation of a possible, maybe spin-off series and then maybe another second season of Moon Knight. How's Oscar feeling about it too? Because he is someone you do not want to lose.
No,
You don't.
no.
Yeah.
Um, I I will say that both Oscar Isaac and the young lady who played Layla,
Mhm.
May Calamay, and again, I wholeheartedly apologize for getting her name wrong, have said they were only contracted for one season of Moon Knight. I have a hard time believing that this is going to be a one and done for this character and not have it interact with any other characters, especially the direction they're
Yeah.
going with a lot of characters in the MCU right now, with the possibility of the introduction of Blade,
Yep.
them desperately to bring back Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
among other things.
There
With
was
now Daredevil, with them recognizing Daredevil as as official MCU canon, like we said at
There
the
was
top of the podcast.
also yeah, there was also bigger, production ideas too, where, like, I forgot which one of the producers, right? One of the producers was really trying to push for having some of the Eternals actually come on the
Yes,
later part of the season 2, but granted, they said, like, that's where all our money would have been, and it would have made no sense type of thing. Like,
which I'm glad. Don't
yeah,
do a crossover for the sake of a crossover. And I like
yeah,
too that they were going to do it with the quote lesser known Eternals, not to detriment, because actually one of the characters that they were going to use was actually one of the Eternals that I enjoyed, and that was oh, we're so
yeah,
terrible
blank
with
on his
names.
name. Yeah, yeah, it's he
The
got jacked too, man.
the Bollywood guy.
Yeah, he's been jacked now for the last 3-4 years. The Eternals gig told him to get jacked, and he just stayed jacked. That
Yeah, he's
man
just like, hey,
works
this is
out.
kind of fun.
Yeah, like he is pushing 40 something, man, and that guy looks like he can go to an event and possibly rank up there. And that
Yeah.
man is, like, yeah, get him in more stuff, and I want him to be in more stuff. And
Well,
it'd
it
been
sounds
awesome
like
to see him there.
they're not scared of the backlash from the Eternals, which, by the way, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know some people rank it as the worst Marvel movie made. I still say that's Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
But I
It's definitely down
enjoyed
there.
I really enjoyed Eternals. And by the way, sidebar, the more I watch Shang-Chi, the more I love Shang-Chi. Such a good movie, JR. I am so glad that you were wrong last summer when you said that this was going to potentially be the biggest flop that that Marvel had. And I love that you ate your words and
Mhm.
loved it. Um, my daughter, who has kind of given up on Marvel, she kind of
Mhm.
is like, "Ugh." She's like, Dad, can we watch Shang-Chi? I want to watch Shang-Chi. She likes it. It could be she likes Aquafina and she won't admit it.
Yep.
But no, my 10-year-old daughter is loving Shang-Chi, and sat here and watched the making of it, and she really enjoyed that. So I just
Yeah.
want to sidebar.
A quick to the actor's name who plays Kingo,
Kingo.
Kingo, yeah, is Kumail Nanjiani.
I'm trying. Yeah, dude
Nanjiani, yeah.
got ripped. If you haven't seen a picture of him, if you haven't seen Eternals, dude got jacked.
Yeah,
A
man.
little bit of business taken care of, by the way. Thank you, everyone who went out and supported all the local comic book stores here in the Coachella Valley for free comic book day this
Couldn't
past
go on my
Saturday.
freaking foot.
I know JR was bummed he couldn't get that free Pokemon book.
Mhm.
Chick took about another $40 of my money. So thank you, job well done. I heard Sid had a great turnout. A lot
Yeah.
of people out there cosplaying. Steven over at Interstellar had a lot of cosplayers and a lot of people
Good.
come out. And glad to hear that.
Mhm.
The what else was I say? Oh, also too, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has wrapped, which means that the holiday special has always also wrapped and is scheduled to make its debut this Christmas on Disney Plus. One of many Disney Plus
Mhm.
Marvel shows we will be getting this year, including Miss Marvel, which will be coming out in June. That is the next show that we get from Marvel. Of course, we get Obi-Wan in about 2-3 weeks.
Mhm.
It also was announced that She-Hulk will be coming out this year. Date we don't know. It also said that Secret Invasion also will be coming out this year, along with Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, along with Thor: Love and Thunder in July, and Wakanda Forever coming out in November. So a full slate of stuff coming out in 2022.
Yep.
So a lot of stuff to talk about. Also, JR, I sent you a picture, a very uh, picture of the director's chair for with the word Osaka on the back and
Yes, it did.
a very familiar black cowboy hat hanging from the chair.
I
I
wonder who that may be.
wonder who it possibly could
Come on, man.
be.
He's gonna be fucking
Um,
showrunner, dude. No one else gonna touch any of this stuff. It's
he's
gonna
going to
be
direct the whole
Filoni.
series. He has to
He's
direct the whole
It's
series.
gonna be Filoni. He's gonna take everything. He's gonna branch off into possibly new Rebels. We're gonna see Ezra. We're gonna see my girl. I forgot her name. She's a oh my god. I'm so happy right now.
Ahsoka Tano,
No, no, not Ahsoka. Not Ahsoka.
Rosario Dawson.
No, no, not Rosario. It's she's a Rebels character who is a Mandalorian, and she might possibly show up in that one because trying to find Ezra. It's a lot of spoilers so far now. I'm saying I know, but we're gonna if she gets in, that's it. I'm happy. We're gonna see more of that. We're gonna see more Filoni. We're gonna see him fix the fucking shit that was the recent trilogy.
We'll
It's gonna
see.
happen
He has
because
to still play nice with Kathleen Kennedy.
fuck
So
her, fuck her. She should be kissing his ass. You know, his ass, and as well as everyone else is just doing amazing with everything Star Wars and Disney Plus.
yeah,
Period. That's the only reason why she's relevant right now.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
real quick. And again, just thank guys so much. Did want to reference real quick that it's almost hockey season for us guys. We're gonna get a hockey team here. That arena is going up. I got a chance to visit the team store for the Firebirds. It looks awesome.
Oh,
So look,
yeah, definitely Firebirds.
so looking
That's
forward to that. But
definitely the Firebirds out here in 111-degree weather heat. Mhm.
I will say this: I hate to end on bad news,
Mm.
but since we've been last on the air, we have lost not only one but two
Yeah.
comic book legends. One most recently this past week, and that, of course, is the absolutely fabulous George Perez.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about on this very show about 6 months ago that George was refusing any future treatment to fight his cancer.
Cancer. Yep.
He had come to grips that he had literally months to live. He was using his opportunity to still fulfill the wishes of many comic book fans, including doing
Yeah.
an exclusive signing with CGC, which unfortunately he inevitably was unable to complete.
Unfortunately,
But
so.
he was willing to do it. George Perez, I met,
Top notch guy.
was a gem of a human being.
Yeah.
And I will cherish the memory of meeting him, because the best way to describe him, and I said it in my Instagram post, was he was a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And that was the best way to describe him, because the amount of respect he showed my wife, my friend Sarah, our friend Sarah, and JR's sister Candace, was second to none. The guy was an absolute gentleman. He rolled out the red carpet for the ladies, and he just was absolutely fabulous. And he will be sorely missed around the Comic Cons. I know a lot of people just had similar stories to talk about him. Another one that was like kind of a shocker. I did not see this coming, and it doesn't make it all that less painful. But the great Neil Adams died about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Another guy who not only transcended comic books, but worked on both major books. He worked for DC and for Marvel. I believe most of his work was in DC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, most of his stuff came from DC. A lot of his stuff
Especially
came
most
from
recently.
Yeah, I know that he did a couple of earlier work too, man. Like some of the like the horror magazines. I mean, he's like some of my favorite work from Neil was actually when he was in what was that one horror comic that Swamp Thing came from?
I knew you were going to say that. I just had it in my head too. Son of a bitch.
It's that one. He did a couple, like he did a bunch of those covers, man. There's one specific one where it had a spider in it, and it was I should have bought it from Sid when he still had it all those years ago, man. And yeah, he's an amazing artist. So
now,
yeah.
of course, the arguably will go down as his most iconic cover, and it was a cover he absolutely fucking hated. Was now we're gonna say, like, Kevin, that's not right. It's number one. It's actually Superman issue number 223, and it is this cover.
Oh yeah, where he breaks the chains.
Where he breaks the chains of kryptonite. And the book, the reason he hates that cover is if you look at his leg, if you look at his left leg, it is bowed out very unnaturally. And the reason it was is because DC needed to fit the words kryptonite nevermore in between his legs, and they made him adjust it. And he says he's gone on to say he hated that cover. It bugs him. He did an episode of Comic Book Men with Kevin Smith, and he talked about how much he hated it. But shout out to Empty Tomb Comics, who hooked me up with that book. He sold it to me at a killer price because he knows I was a huge Superman fan, and I needed that for my collection. And really
another big shout out too goes to my friend, personal friend, and it's just crazy how this freaking year's been, man. But my friend Alan Balnay, his mother just passed recently as well. I'm gonna go to the viewing next week too, so we might not have a Wednesday episode next week. But yeah, a shout out to his mother. I just remember her when they lived, down the street from my parents, man. And so, as well as just growing up, and so, my thoughts and my condolences go out to his family as well. And for those who know Alan Balnay, he's a great guy. So yeah, shout out to Alan. I'm gonna see you next week, brother, and see how you've been.
With that said, we will do an episode if it's not this weekend, very, very soon. We hope to get a regular episode out where we do talk about the Batman and give you a full wrap up. Now, people, I've been asking, okay, he's been It's only been a week, but you guys were going to do the Batman like a week after you came out. But we did it. We were going to do it a week after it came out on HBO Max. It had been out for
Yeah.
a month. So we are going to wait. If you're wanting our full review of Doctor Strange, we just possibly can't do a
Yeah.
spoilery review of a movie of that magnitude
We're gonna.
without
Yeah.
ruining it for someone. And
Yeah. I feel
we
like we
do
gotta
these,
wait for that.
yeah, we
Yeah.
do Moon Knights and stuff like that because it's a small scale and people are going to consume Moon Knight or shows like this day of because it's you can watch it at home and we wait uh, till later in the day to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will eventually do a Doctor Strange episode because there is a ton to talk about. Plus, JR hasn't even seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to go out here and support your local comic book store. Don't forget
Mhm.
that you can you want that hookup, you want to get some of that that eBay love, you can head on over to also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm be putting out more stuff
Um,
this week, man. So I pay off some stuff. So I definitely need to sell some books. So yeah.
yeah.
Man.
Apparently JR needs a new chair because not
Oh,
only
it's broken.
not only did it break a few weeks ago, but it broke again and almost killed his sister.
Mhm.
I've heard a one-sided story of that
Did she say
incident.
almost? It did not. It did not almost kill her. She's just exaggerating. She's exaggerating. She trips over her own feet. Okay.
You said it,
She
not me. You're her
she
brother.
trips. She if she's using 1 foot, she'll trip over that 1 foot, and it's her own foot. Okay. I love her to death. I love her so
Love
damn
you,
much.
Candace.
If anyone makes fun of her, I will kill them. Only I will.
I
make
will
fun of
too.
her. Okay? Only I will make fun of her. That being said, where can they catch you, my guy?
Voice of Reason 23. We will be on the air sometime very, very soon. Like Jared said, he will be
most
taking.
likely real soon because I'm
Yeah, I'm
actually
hoping
on.
so.
Because if for those who've actually catch up, I've been on Twitch recently on our PS Comics. I love you on our
Yes.
Twitch. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I have one playthrough on YouTube. That stream died on me. It like I played for like almost an hour and it just crapped on me. And so you know what? I'll go back to Twitch real quick. See how that goes. And I'll go
So
back to
yeah,
Twitch.
I think for the most part, if you're going to want to see some streaming, you're going to have to. We're gonna keep it to Twitch. That's one of the reasons why we did it. YouTube. You guys are watching this on YouTube right now,
Yeah.
and this stream has done quite well. But video game streaming has not done really well on YouTube, and I know that's been a complaint amongst a lot of people. Why a lot of streamers, a lot of content creators have left YouTube to go to Twitch. Yeah, that's why we have Twitch. We are going to continue to do more gaming content on there. I will be doing some Pokemon
Mhm.
stuff. I will probably be streaming during the summertime. I'll probably be streaming Pokemon Go Fest a little bit, but I'm still trying to figure out a way to do it. And unfortunately, the iPhone doesn't have the ability to. Basically, it screen records, but it doesn't have like a camera, so you can do both. I know that the Androids do. People are like, get a fucking Android. I don't have the time or the effort or the money to go get a secondary phone. So, sorry, I'm an iPhone guy. But we'll probably do some Legends of Arceus, maybe on the Switch. I do want to do. My son's been desperately asking me to do the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. I haven't finished playing that yet. I'm very close to finally pulling the trigger, maybe in the next year or so on a PS5 because I want to get Spider-Man. I want to get this new Spider-Man game when it comes out next year.
If you could find one, my guy. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I've been trying to get to this guy's house to show him my PS5, man. It is I don't know how people can stand like load times that are longer than 15 seconds.
Yeah. I will say that there are games on the PlayStation 4 that had gotten better. Most specifically, Miles Morales was tremendously quicker of a game than even Spider-Man was, and Spider-Man was a lot better than games like Grand Theft Auto and
Last
Red
of
Dead
Us,
Redemption, stuff like
Last
that.
of Us 1, Red Dead Redemption. Like, yeah, no, bro, like you have blazing fast loading time. Like, you know how like there's specific parts in Miles Morales, right, where you go from inside one of the strongholds and he kicks out, there's a loading time there. And
it's
in
fucking
just
fantastic.
in PS5. No, when you kick out of there, you go from inside the stronghold into the city, and you're zipping through. It's seamless. It is absolutely seamless. I don't think there was any time I had to do a loading time within Miles Morales. I don't recall specifically. But yeah, it is awesome. I do recommend it. I do recommend people not buy those crazy eBay prices that are still upwards of like
Yeah.
$800, $1,000. It's stupid.
I'm
I
gonna
hope
wait
they,
for it to come out like in Target or
yeah,
something, or Best Buy.
yeah, which is great. I know that they're doing better. Target and Walmart are doing a better job now of having actual people and not bots buy their stock. And so, yeah, that's still my best purchase of 2021.
Yeah, you bought it last year.
Yeah.
Real quick shout out. I finally found the American Lager Stone Cold Broken Skull IPA, or Broken Skull American Lager. Really, really good, refreshing beer. Your beer drinker.
I might actually go out of like Walmart or something to buy a beer real quick and some stuff, and as well as I might do a stream tonight, man. Just trying to fetch a
There you go.
PlayStation.
Check it out. PS Comics.
Yeah,
I
man.
love you on Twitch. Follow us, subscribe. We're gonna get more into this. Jared, thank you so much for staying up with us on a Wednesday night. And again, a lot of more content coming your way. The Batman review plus news and notes coming out this weekend, plus maybe even a flex pool coming your way. Don't forget, we will return to Wednesday nights in 2 weeks. When Obi-Wan debuts.
Oh my gosh, yes.
On Disney Plus for not one but 2 episodes. Don't forget, we get 2 episodes on opening night. So we will. Maybe it might be late. It might be a late episode.
How many episodes is it again? It's like 7.
I think it's 6. I think it's 6 or 7 episodes. See, the Star Wars ones have been a little bit weirder. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been longer too. But here we go.
By the way, real quick, 1 through 6. How do you? We'll end on this. I know we've been trying to wrap it up here for about a half an hour, but 1 through 6. Where do you rank the Disney Plus Marvel Studios shows?
Moon Knight and Captain Falcon are like 1, 2 for me. I just don't know which one's gonna be a solid one. They're like right there. Number 3 is gonna be. I want to say Hawkeye. 3 Hawkeye. Yeah. 4 is 4 might be. Not Loki's the last one. I know that Loki's last, but I think 4 is gonna be Wanda. And 5. What was the other one that came out? What If?
You're missing What If and Loki.
Yeah, 5 would be What If, and 6 would be Loki.
And so my top 6 going 1 through 6. So this is my favorite at the top would be Moon Knight. Number 2, WandaVision. Number 3, Loki. Number 4, What If. Number 5, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Number 6, Hawkeye. Now, and that's not a dig on Hawkeye. I liked Hawkeye. I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier. I enjoyed What If. Rewatching, the only one I haven't watched a second time is Moon Knight and Hawkeye. And What If. I've rewatched WandaVision, Loki, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier twice. It's tough because you could say they're tied. It's a 6-way tie for first place. They've done a fantastic job. Hawkeye, over delivered for me. I thought it was going to be an underwhelming. It's a freaking Hawkeye show. Over delivered for me is fantastic. But having rewatched WandaVision and seeing how groundbreaking that show was, and Loki, just the creativity and the just mind-bending writing it did. And then Moon Knight it just didn't need anything other than itself to just be a fabulous show. It didn't need, you think about it, WandaVision, Loki, What If, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye all used either existing or crossed over with other characters. Moon Knight had all original characters in it and crossed over with none. 2 thumbs up. Loved it. Can't wait for Miss Marvel. That's the next Marvel show. Can't wait for all the rest of it. It's gonna be fabulous. Guys, thank you so much. JR, go to Walmart, get a beer. Go watch you can still, I think they'll have the 10 o'clock showing at Mary Pickford
but I ain't trying to do that. I ain't trying to go at 10.
It is a solid 2-hour movie, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I'll be home by like 12, and 12. Dude, I'm not trying to complain about the homeless, but I will say we're getting a lot more of like the
It's a fucking problem.
dangerous dude. Yeah, like it's in Palm Springs specifically, and so it's got crazier, man. It got crazier overnight. I've seen some stuff already, man. But yeah,
Yeah, be safe out there, guys.
yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see
Oh,
you this weekend. Oh,
that being said, asshole. Now I gotta try to defend freaking Hawkeye. No, I don't need to, but yeah, Hawkeye's still like top 4 for me. Yeah,
I like that.
it's good.
It's so tough to make these lists because at the end of the day, I like Iron Man 3,
All I'm
but
gonna
it's my
say is that
least favorite MCU movie.
all I'm gonna say is that Hawkeye introduced Vincent D'Onofrio into the MCU, and that made Netflix. That made all the next before the shows canon now. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Come on, Charlie Cox did it first.
I mean,
No,
sure.
wait.
No,
Wait.
it was no, it was Netflix. It was Hawkeye. That was
Oh, that's
Hawkeye
right,
that did
because
it first.
Hawkeye became out. It was a Christmas movie. You're
Yeah,
right.
because
You're
because
absolutely right.
yeah, episode 4 we got Vincent D'Onofrio, and I told you like, oh, maybe they comes up, maybe you show up in
You're
what's it
correct.
called
He did beat it. Hawkeye
Spider-Man.
beat it to it. So Hawkeye
Mm-hmm.
is what canonized the Daredevil, the entire Netflix
Mm-hmm.
Marvel show, which basically legitimized and I'm sorry, but it's just Feige. If you're listening, this is just Agents of Shield is canon. Come on, just do it. It makes no sense not to. Do you want me to get the whiteboard out? Again, I will. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll see you this weekend. Hawkeye's good. It's just my 6th favorite. And with that said, in broadcast,
Later, guys.
hit the button, Kevin.